The biggest mistake that is holding successful men back from having an awesome dating life is something that you would be completely forgiven and it being totally understandable that you've fallen into this mindset trap because we were told this repeatedly ever since we were kids. We have been told this lie over and over again from teachers, family members, even friends echo this, the family members of friends. It's a holistic, societal wide lie that just does not hold up based on actual field experience. And that lie is that you just do everything right, take care of yourself, be a good guy, build businesses, increase your value, and then the right girl will come along. It'll be smooth, effortless, and no headaches required. She's going to be wonderful, perfect, just how you want her to be, with no conscious effort put into making that happen, aside from all the effort you've put into becoming a high value man. I genuinely believe that this is the most poisonous mindset that is pushed onto men, especially successful ones. I don't really want to get into the why behind this narrative being pushed. I just want to talk about what to do instead and how we can optimize our life for getting the actual results that we want in our dating life versus just sitting in this, oh, let me just sit back, become awesome, and just hope that things are going to happen how I want to in my dating life. Because I'll be willing to bet if you have a great career, you're in great shape, you've got probably maybe a fun social life, that the women didn't fall out of the sky and land into your lap. Why? Because that's not how it works. And I'm speaking from experience here. I fell completely into this trap for an embarrassingly long amount of time. Ever since college, I tried to deploy the feminine strategy of, oh, let me make myself look as good as possible. Let me sit back and let them come to me. Now, it has happened, but not nearly or regularly or reliably as some people might think it would when you adopt that strategy. So I went down the path of putting my all into fitness. I was one of these guys who's just obsessed with the gym. My nutrition was on point. My corporate career, I was in a great place there. And I thought, okay, why haven't the women come yet? They're not recognizing my value. Oh, they just must be like silly girls who, they just want to go after, they're a slave to their emotions and they just want to go after all the bad boys. No, that's not how this works. And again, like I said, you'd be completely forgiven for thinking this way because it's been beaten into your head over and over again by society. But the fact of the matter is, as men, as the masculine, the male sex, it's our job to put in effort to make things happen. And dating is not an exception here. You know that saying, there's no such thing as a free lunch in economics? That applies there. That applies in biology. If you take a drug, you're going to have possible side effects that come about from it because it's essentially trying to give your body a free lunch. And in dating, if you try to just use your wealth and value load, that's essentially trying to do the same thing as taking a drug. You're trying to strong arm a result where you really actually need to be participating in the mating dance to give the woman a proper seduction. And if you load with your value, what you're going to find is, and there's nothing wrong with being a provider, you just have to add other elements in the mix as well. Because if you just focus on being a provider, Well, the girl's just going to see you as a wallet, and you're not going to get the treatment that you're actually after, which every man is after, whether their goal is a hookup, whether their goal is they want a rotation or they want a girlfriend or they want a wife. It doesn't matter. The same common theme that every single guy wants with these various goals is they want a woman that gives them genuine, burning, lustful desire. That is what they're after. So if you just lead with your value, you're not likely going to get that. Are there exceptions? Of course. There's always exceptions. We're dealing with human beings here that have their own different preferences, frames, backgrounds, upbringings, belief systems. So yes, there's exceptions, but what we're going after here is reliable, regular results. All right, so now that we have the problem, what do we do about it? Well, what we do about it is we develop a strategy. We develop a conscious strategy for meeting cool, awesome women and making things happen with those women. There's two ways you can go about this. You can learn pickup, where you really get deep into the micro strategy of like optimal posture, how to stand when you're talking to a girl, conversation, and conversation skills are necessary in the other path I'm going to talk about as well. But pickup's really focused on playing games within the conversation, doing things to spike her arousal, push, pull, pretending like you don't like her. These things suck. There's a place for micro game for sure, where you want to focus on, what specifically to do in the interaction. Yes. But you want to focus on having a macro strategy, because that's going to allow you to have consistent results. So this is what we do instead. We focus on building our life in a way that allows us to, yes, mix in some elements of dating strategy on the micro level, but having that macro covered so we know that it's going to build us towards a dating life that we want based on our goals, not what society tells us, not what friends tell us, not what parents tell us, what you want. Because life's too short to go off of what other people want for you. So if you want to change your dating life, these are the things that you're going to want to focus on. So number one is you want to keep the pipeline full. Again, this is where I disagree with a lot of pickup stuff. Pickup will tell you that you need to make things work with any and every girl. Here's a formula. Here's how you can seduce her and make her, and you can mold her into what you want. Again, this could be done sometimes with some girls. But again, this is another human being we're talking about. She has her own agency. She has her own desires, her goals. So trying to run around and make things work with any and every girl, as a busy professional, as a high achieving man, you're not going to want to go down that path, because your time is taken up doing a lot of other things. And I learned this because I myself was a busy professional, but yet I still went down the route because for me personally, I knew that I wanted to meet the highest quality women. I didn't want to settle for a poor dating life. I saw too many friends and other people just settling. Like you hear these horror stories all the time, and I didn't want to do that. So I actually threw my all into learning a lot of these skills and learning from the pickup artists and trying different things out in that avenue. And I just found it wasn't efficient for the other goals that I had in life at the time. Now I'm doing dating coaching full time, but back then I was on a different professional path, and I needed a way that was a lot more convenient versus trying to go in and make things work with any and every girl. So step one is we keep the pipeline full so we can meet girls that we're looking for, that vibe with us. And it's better this way anyways. If you've got a girl who's got a different goal than what you have, it's just not fun, because it's a constant tango of who's giving up what it feels like a negotiation. So when you have all these options, you're going to find girls that naturally vibe with you. And I'm not talking about finding girls that are easy. but finding girls that are on the same page with you as far as going with the flow, letting things unfold naturally, which I'm assuming that's what you want, because those are the most fun. Looking for a wife is a noble goal. But I can tell you from experience that going with the flow and letting things unfold naturally is going to work out the best for you, because when you have that agenda item of, oh, I have to make things work, you're going to put a lot of pressure on yourself, which is going to make it to where you are going to put pressure in the interaction. I mean, if you've ever run into this with a girl who's on a hard timeline of she wants to have kids and she wants to get married, it's not right actually for you to pursue a girl like that in a casual way, because you're just going to delay her goal, and now she's going to start feeling the pressure. So the thing is that finding a girl who goes with the flow is going to just make things a lot more pleasant, because then you guys can just play it by ear and see where things go. So that's step one, is we keep the pipeline full. And we're going to do that by getting a photo shoot with a photographer who knows how to capture you in a way that maximizes your lustful appeal without being cringe. Now, that's the key. You have to look attractive. And it's important to have the photos show you off in your best light, because here's the thing. Women are attracted to our charisma, our behavior, and our confidence, mainly. Looks are definitely a component, don't get me wrong. But when you have the confidence and the charisma gone because they're not there on the apps, you have to look that much better to compensate for it. So when you have a proper photo shoot down, your online game is going to allow you to, your online profile is going to allow you to meet a lot of awesome girls pretty quickly. And then step two is you want to cold approach every hot girl that you see during the day. And then step three with the pipeline is, if you can, go to a popular nightclub venue, bars, places that you're going to enjoy and have a good time with. And from there, you can just collect numbers and meet girls that way. Which again, by the way, this is another aspect where PUA pickup artists will tell you that, oh, you need to bring a girl home that night. That's not the case at all. You can make a good impression, collect numbers. Yeah, are the numbers going to be flaky? Sure. You didn't really have that much time together, so that the numbers are going to be flaky there. But if you have good texting skills, then that'll convert that. And so this is where more of the micro strategy starts to come into play. After you have your options open, then you're going to want to learn how to text, and text in a way that shows you off as the cool, attractive guy that gets to the point, that makes things happen, that doesn't dilly-dally around. Then on dates, you're going to want to know how to have proper conversations with the girl in a way that allows you to connect with her. And then you're going to also want to know how to flirt, how to turn her on, because otherwise you're just going to get friend zoned. And then you need to know how to make things happen with regard to intimacy, and what to do if you want to keep seeing her again, and how to communicate that to her in a way that makes sure that she's on the same page with you as well. So you can see now why, when you have a conscious strategy in place, how much better your dating life is going to be, because you're going to be meeting awesome women, and now you're going to know how to meet them halfway with what they want, and what they want is going to be very similar to you, so you're not really having to give up much at all. And so if this sounds intimidating to you, because look, I get it. You're putting in a lot of hours in your career, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, so this is another avenue I have to put in a ton of time into. One, you're not insane for thinking that. I thought that too. I'm like, oh my gosh, I put in so much time into the gym, into my career, and now I have to learn this whole entire dating strategy as well. Just think back to one of the most common life sayings that is true, which is nothing great in life that's worth having is easy. And if you want to settle, then that's totally your prerogative when it comes to your dating life. I just want to encourage you to not settle, though, because when you have an awesome dating life, it's just going to help you in so many other areas. You're going to have a higher sense of satisfaction. There's a lot of guys that I know that I've met that didn't have their dating life optimized. They had great businesses. They had a lot of freedom, great social lives. There's always an empty void when they don't have a life set up to where they're meeting hot girls and getting whatever their dating goals are accomplished. So yes, it can seem daunting, but I promise you it's worth it. You only have one life to live, and putting in the effort to have a dating life that other men only dream of, it's going to pay constant dividends throughout your life, more so than you could ever imagine. All right. I appreciate you for tuning in today, and that's all I've got. I'll talk to you next time.